Hi and welcome, brave adventurers. First and foremost, thank you for the message so far to the previous vid that I did, yesterday. It never meant me to be sounding and feeling so depressed. It just happened as I started making the video, but never mind. And sometimes I do use people's full names because sometimes I do forget the name of the channel. So the channel's DM Guard, not DM Guard, that's somebody else, Rogue DM. And I've got to try to remember, some of the ones that I do forget from time to time with the, names of channels. But I'll try to remember Rogue DM. Right. Okay, and this video is first set of videos to do with my gaming group. Basically, I will start off about what happened initially. They started off. They were on board a ship, and it was this place here, that island, right there, and they sailed off to Taldor, and Riddenport, I believe it was, and it was a takeover by parrots. I could get to that later on. By pirates, and they defeated the pirates. One of them was given a map just before they got onto the ship. That's what they were after, actually. So that was a fun adventure. They end up with a parrot, which took a shine to what Jess's character. Actually gets quite jealous about other characters as well, and you're saying she's mine, will you leave alone, or piss off, stuff like that. That first bit went fine. Then they got to Riddenport, and they spent a night with the archaeologist sort of like chapter place or whatever, a guy guild or whatever it was, I can't remember. And then they spent a bit of time in a pub, in a tavern, where they hear tales of a place called Vanders, a place that's been long abandoned because people vanished, literally, overnight. People vanished. They were just not there anymore, and people stayed well clear. It just meant that the place was overrun with goblins and such like. Heavily overrun with goblins, and they started off on their adventure. Was told that a madman that lives nearby in the woods knows something of this. They go off on their travels, and they end up seeing this madman, finding out that the villagers didn't vanish. They got turned into wolves, and they're roaming about the forest. They also found out that later on that the madman, Zach or something like that, I can't remember now, he stole the amulet from Vanders himself, which is a great hero, a clerical hero, that big battle happened nearby where Vanders stands many years ago, probably centuries ago, and he saved the place, but at a personal cost to himself. They found out that the madman took the amulet, stole the amulet, and the whole place, so far as they know, all the villagers were turned into wolves. They were cursed, and so they've had a few goblin fights here and there as well. They actually, after when they first of all got to the villagers' hut, they met Jeff's character has only just joined the group, so that's a half orc female. Actually, I did allow him to use a one-off attack to do with these goblin bows. He's using those for a bit. Could barely bloody use them, but still, I allowed it. But then they literally, got to the village. They did forget that they needed to grab the amulet at one time from the wolf's neck, and also they needed the madman because only he could pull it back, and no other person, because of the wording on the amulet. So that happened, and then they, because it's getting dark, nobody's sleeping, so now they're feeling a little bit fatigued. They ended up, there was a trader place, a shopkeeper, and I literally said, look, it's in ruins, you can have any basic item you want. This is one and rare chance they could do this, so I allowed them a couple of basic items each they had. Then they heard the howling of wolves, so they got into this cellar. Now, the archaeologist type character, Gary's character, decided, let's split from the other party members and have a search about this cellar. Bad idea, because in the far corner of that room were 4 Darrats, which wasn't so good, because his character almost died because they all went for him first, as he was in front of everyone else. They dealt with the rats. They were able to deal with the rats. Then the wolves came. Could hear them killing 1 or 2 goblins above. And then, they heard the scratching from the cellar door. They found out earlier, just as they went in, when the characters of wood there's, not particularly great. A damp rot or something. So, in places, so it wasn't particularly good condition, the door anyway. So a couple of wolves burst through. For some mysterious reason, as you know, they turned to humans anyway. There was a mare, actually, and the character himself actually stole it for the mare. It was purely to do financial gain, actually. This mare was, a little bit corrupt, to say the least, and the amount of money he was thinking that he could make from this item would be, quite incredible for him, So the mare is pretty much the alpha wolf at this time, and had for some reason, mysterious reason, I don't know why, he had the amulet right round his neck. Now, one of the characters, the archaeologist type character, had an ability where he could lift up to 5 pounds in weight the amulet off of the neck of the wolf, so that happened. But just before that, I almost forgot, when the attack with the wolves, you know, to do with this cellar, Chris's character, that is a ranger, tried to take a shot at one of the wolves. He rolled a 1. I asked him to roll again because it's depending on the rules is how severe it could be. Because he had double 1, I'm not going to be too severe, you know, especially at level, you know, starting levels. But I decided for this time, for some reason, the arrow bounced off the walls and into his backside. So of course later on, you know, when they actually, because they had to fetch the madman, because at that point, you know, when they read the amulet, you know, I had to give a little bit of a prompt, but that's okay. They knew they had to get the madman, you know, found out, you know, the extra information already said, and then they proceeded into the you know, into the church itself, where Vanders Lee's body lay, which would have been down below. Now I had it, you know, as a well. They went down the well, and you know, it was a muddy but pretty much dried out well. They went in there, the smaller cave, 40 foot by 40 foot cave. They had one goblin attack, you know, and a pool of acid in the centre, actually, which I didn't realise at the time. And after they dealt with the goblins there, you know, losing slings, Jeff's character, the half-orc, decided to drink from it. Got minorly burnt with the hands and, you know, down the neck, so it was minor acid. Then they got into the major cave, which was twice the size of that. There was a shattered door, you know, stalactites, stalagmites, stuff like that. The floor was a little bit uneven in places as well. And by the door was, yeah, and it was pretty challenging actually. This is the reason why I did this, because I wanted to see, you know, if they could work out how to, you know, get round this, which they did. There was 8 Shriekers there, and these were the type, you know, that gives out sonic attacks as well. So they decided, which was going to take a while, and you know, while they were doing this, you know, I was taking rolling wandering monster rolls. They had a crowbar. He put a bit of cloth around the crowbar to, you know, to dampen the sound and that. But yeah, they taking the stalactites, breaking them off. Then because I decided, because one of them said, is there a bit of a slope leading down to these 6? And I thought, well, because just before then I said about the stalactites, you know, right above them, and they were considering how to break them off to, you know, sort out these Shriekers. But one of them said, well, why don't we roll down these stalactites down onto these Shriekers? I thought it was an awesome idea, so I said there was a slope, and they rolled it. They still had to roll to hit. Jess keeps doing it again. She ended up with 2 critical hits. I decided, I didn't know how many points of damage these stalactites would have done to these things. I decided on 66, you know, so I thought, well, yeah, this is going to do quite a bit of damage, you know, really rolling down full force. It took a few times, you know, and it triggered off some zombies one time, which got dealt with the psych attacks. Another time, you know, they had a goblin attack, which some of the goblins ended up, because the archaeologist is a bit of a wordsmith anyway, he used a command for them to pretty much some of them to flee, some of them to attack the Shriekers. So that's what they did. They, you know, some goblins attacked the Shriekers. There's only 1 or 2 attack rounds, and they died, but they did a minor bit of damage. They were able to finish off the encounter. By the end of that, it was the game. You know, we ran out of time. Everyone leveled up to level 2, which I thought they really deserved to level up to level 2 after all that. Also, you know, I did give you know, the bonus experience and stuff like that. I did give a good experience bonus for you know, defeating the Shriekers, and for the idea of rolling down the stalactites. But all in all, I thought they did really well. I was pretty pleased, you know, even though in places, you know, got to give them a little bit of a prompt. But for me, this is a new group, and a lot of them either haven't played in a long time, or, you know, there's a bit of inexperience anyway. So, you know, the odd prompt here and there I find okay, but they did really well. They, you know, they really, you know, worked together on the problem at the end. So I gave the one who came up with the idea of, you know, rolling down these stalactites. I awarded everyone 100 experience anyway, but I awarded the guy who fought it up the extra 75 experience points for that, because I thought, yeah, that's a really good thinking, you know, and I do like to reward experience points as well. Yeah, the only thing that was missing actually when they were getting to this madman as well, remembering everything, because it was, you know, a good 6-hour session, you know, last Saturday. The parrot ended up singing a song relating to one of the characters getting the arrow at the bottom, and literally he was singing away and calling him, you know, shot. Yeah, so yeah, you know, I can't remember exactly what I sang, but it was pretty funny actually. The parrot's been really great comic relief, and it's been pretty funny. You know, some of the characters are getting quite annoyed, you know, with his jealousy, and you know, winding up some of the you know, some of the characters as well. Actually, the one that was put on the amulet himself, you know, I said that you know, he got you know, he's feeling a little bit wolf-like, so he's, you know, there's been some slight changes for some reason, which I won't say. But yeah, also, you know, he did get diseased as well a bit with the rats, as he knows anyway. So I don't mind saying that. I mean, with the amount of hits he had on him, these rats, you know, they all he pretty much knows that he got, you know, diseased. But yeah, all in all, really a great session. Hopefully we'll get a similar size session next time, which is in a couple of weeks, and we should be able to finish off wrap up that adventure. It may take one more, it all depends, you know. This is the thing, I mean, you could do quite a lot, you know, and then you get the combat, and that's when it slows down, and you'd be, you know, spending a lot of time dice rolling with this game. But all in all, fairly enjoyable game. As I said on the top of this video, yeah, thanks to all, you know, to do with the comments from yesterday. And I will try to get people's channels names right, because I don't know if people prefer to be called by the channel name, to be honest. But it's only because I do forget sometimes when it comes to the people's channels names. So yes, that's it. Running in at 20 minutes, almost. Yeah, and thanks until next time.